Hello and welcome to another one of my Prestigio videos. Today I'll be doing a full review of the MultiPad 2 Prime Duo tablet PC. But first I would like to talk about my recent experience with the Prestigio brand and the Prestigio service here in Croatia. As you probably know, I owned a 5880D tablet up until recently, and I had a couple of problems with them. First of all, the volume rocker stopped working, so I sent it to the service in Zagreb, and they fixed the buttons, but they chipped the casing. After a while, I resent the tablet back for service because a white spot appeared on the display. They replaced the display, but the casing remained damaged, even though I told them to replace it because they damaged it. So it came back with a new screen, but the casing was separated from the display by about 2 millimeters. So I sent it again. This was probably 2.5 months into their service. So the tablet was basically more in their hands than it was in mine. And since it took them a while to even reply to my service request, I contacted Prestigio over Facebook, and I need to thank the guys at SBIS Croatia. They were really nice, really polite, told me to wait a bit more. I did wait. I contacted them again, no reply from the service, and they sent this brand new tablet to my home address. So thank you very much, SBIS Croatia. I do realize that mistakes happen while repairing such delicate devices, so it's what happens then that counts, and Prestigio Croatia was really nice, really polite, and they sent this replacement unit. So let's get back to the review. Let's go through the specs. The tablet comes with Android 4.1 out of the box. For some reason these Chinese tablets are not updated to 4.2, but it's not such a huge problem because 4.2 only gets a couple of minor features. You get a dual-core 1.6 ROX chip processor with 1 GB of RAM. Performance-wise, the tablet is practically identical to the 5880D, and it works perfectly well. I'm very much satisfied. The display on this model is, I must say, the best display I've had on any Prestigio tablet. It's a 4:3 aspect ratio IPS display with a resolution of 1024 by 768, so it's a HD display. It's not a retina display, but very few people will mind it. It's a very nice display, and as I said, almost perfect in any way. It has dual cameras with 0.3 front shooter and 5 megapixel back, 4300 milliamp hour battery, 16 GB storage space, and that's about it for the major specs. Let's do a quick hardware tour. So you get a 4:3 aspect ratio, just like on an iPad or an iPad mini. I must say I prefer this aspect ratio because the 16:9 aspect ratio makes the display very long and very thin, this is more classical, although you get some issues while watching YouTube videos with the black letter boxing, but that's not avoidable. On the front you get a 0.3 megapixel shooter. Skype works very well with this. Above it, I'm not sure if you can see it, is a microphone in this bezel. It's a really nice idea to put it here. It's not noticeable at all, and it works quite well with Google Now, Skype calling and such things. So that's the display, nothing else on the front. You get the volume rocker here, rather nice feedback, nothing else on the sides, nothing on the bottom, nothing on the left side. And on the front, on the top, is where all the magic happens. So you get the HDMI, mini HDMI out, I tried this with my Philips monitor, with my Philips TV. Works very well, sound goes through it. I'm very satisfied. You get expansion slot for micro SD up to 32 gigabytes, which I haven't actually used because I do not need it with all the memory pre-installed on the device. Micro USB port, you cannot use it for charging, unfortunately, which is a minor problem when traveling somewhere, so you have to carry the Prestigio charger, which goes here. It's one of those pins. I got it right here. You plug it in here, and one interesting thing is it has an LED here, so that will fire up the device. We'll do a boot test later on. So this LED flashes red when it's charging, and it goes yellow when it's full. Let's unplug that. Let's fire up the device to see how long it takes. Okay, and you get your 3.5mm headphone jack here and the power button here. The device is booting. On the back, really nice construction. This is again one of the best tablets from Prestigio I used. It has a metal backing with a plastic frame. The wireless antenna seems to be here in this plastic part with your microphone here. I do not know why they do not put the speakers on the front when you're using the tablet so you can hear it properly, but this seems to be a standard case scenario. And the 5-megapixel shooter with no LED flash. Does really nice videos. You could hear the sound when booting up, and that was it. Back to nice Prestigio logo. You need to avoid covering this area because it serves as an antenna for the Wi-Fi, and I must say the 5880D I previously owned had much better antenna reception. It must be because of the metal backing. So in some parts of the house I only get 1 bar, while the 5880 got 4 bars in every part of the house I went to. That's about it for the hardware. Let's go back to the software. So it runs Android 4.1, sorry, Jelly Bean. It's still booting up, so we'll wait till that is done. As you can see, only 2 bars here. I'm approximately 5 meters from my wireless router. There's only 1 or 2 walls between me and the router, so I do not know why this signal is so weak. If you cover this up, usually it drops. As you can see, it dropped to 1 bar only, but I still get decent speeds, decent reception, so not much to complain about here. Performance wise, the tablet is, I must say, very satisfactory, no problems whatsoever. Only bug I have seen is that sometimes when loading a page, the browser, the stock Android browser, which I prefer to Google Chrome is still not on par with this stock Android browser. This browser sometimes tends to how do I say, exit. It just drops. You get back to the start screen and you need to reload the page again. I do not know why this is. I hope Prestigio fixes it in another update, but it is what it is. You get the stock Android experience, so vanilla Android experience with your standard launcher, standard widgets. I installed quite a few apps here, as you can see, and it all runs perfectly smooth, no stuttering, no nothing. You can place your widgets. Some of these widgets are resizable, some are not. It depends. You can always install another launcher. I used to use Epic's launcher, but it's not needed. Only problem with this launcher is that you only get 3 home screens. So for those of you who need more than that, it might be a problem, but you can always customize it to your heart's content. What else to show you? Okay, let's go into YouTube, let's say. YouTube runs nicely, but sometimes it tends to stop loading in a half of a video. Then you have to reload it, or I don't know, try something else.
Hey guys,
But video wise it's really nice. So this is the only problem with the 4:3 aspect ratio, that you get these black bars on top and bottom, but it is what it is. That's YouTube for you. Let's go back. Everything is really fast, really smooth, and it only depends on your connection speed. You get this tablet optimized experience, which is really nice. I prefer it to the Google Nexus 7, which is basically a phone experience. You get one of these panes, which is, I don't know, not logical. Let's go back. You got your Twitter, music. I tend to use Google Music now. What's it called? Google Play Music, which runs really well. Prestigio does ship it with stock music player, which is rather ugly, so I do not use it. What else to show you? Video player, also really nice. The 4:3 aspect ratio works well in older shows which were formatted in this aspect ratio, so you get the full screen experience. Speakers are really nice. So that's the music player. One interesting thing I did not know about Android players, about this player, is that you can run it in a windowed mode. So you can play your video there and do other stuff. And it does not impede the performance in any part. So you can do your stuff and still play the video. Let's go into the browser real quickly. This is the stock Prestigio homepage. One thing I did notice, which was a problem for me, is that it does not sync with your Google bookmarks. So you have to load these bookmarks and save them on the device. I used to have this local bookmark pane and the Gmail part, but it did not load them, and it does not load them. I do not know why, but it is unavoidable. Let's try Phone Arena for a second. As you can see, nice fast loading. It does run Adobe Flash Player 11. You can install it, so you have no problems with that. It works only in the stock Android launcher because Chrome does not support it. And as you can see, browsing is really fast, zooming fluid. So no complaints there. I have the feeling that the tablet is really future proof because the chipset is really fast, and it only depends on the manufacturer if they will upgrade this to Android 4.3 or 5.0, whatever it will be called. Let's try another page. Let's say Techno Buffalo. It usually loads the page in the mobile configuration, and you can request the desktop view. So that's fast enough. Let's go back. I have not played too many games. Let's just try Angry Birds. I'm not a big fan of mobile gaming, so I only have a couple of games which are time killers for me. I have not played with most of these parts yet. But as you can see, performance-wise, the tablet is pretty much the same as all the other Prestigio tablets I've reviewed recently, because it is the same chipset, only difference is in the size and the layout of the tablet. Go back. You got your Instagram, the camera app. Camera app is pretty basic, pretty simple. Does the job nicely. It can record video, so check out the video. Very nice frame rate, I must say. Sound recording is also nice. Unfortunately, it is not optically stabilized, but you cannot expect that for 200 euros. One interesting thing is that I noticed here that my Windows Phone cannot do is you can zoom while recording video, which is really nice feature, and I do not understand why other OS do not do this. It's really nice. It helps you a lot. You can zoom, unzoom, whatever you want. So that is basically all that I had to say. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. I resolve all your questions on my Gmail app. I reply to them with this tablet. So there are no problems. Ask anything. Please like, subscribe, sorry, if you liked what you saw. And come back again. I might have a couple of new videos to show you. To be honest, I've become rather a fan of this make. This is the 5th tablet I own from them. And they've been really nice, really progressive with their development. So I will be buying more devices from them. So come back again to my channel. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.